feels a need to clean up what he said last week in Detroit, where he was saying that if Harris wins, then all cities will become like Detroit, which is pretty insulting.
It is insulting, but I heard him say it again shortly while later when he was, I believe, in Chicago talking to that economic club, saying that Detroit, again, was a developing nation, or essentially saying that they needed to clean up and that the entire country could become like that. I don't think he's going to change anything that he's saying there in terms of that messaging. Obviously, Michigan is a critical state, and one thing that Elena said that we're hearing from his team is that they're feeling very good about Michigan. And one thing to keep in mind right now, everywhere that Donald Trump goes from here into Election Day is targeted. They are no longer going to places that they think they're going to win. They are going to places that they think they need to reach voters. One of the places they need to reach voters is those suburbs of Detroit. They feel confident about it, but that doesn't mean they think they have it in the bank. So you're going to see him in Michigan every week until Election Day. We have 3 weeks to go. They want Michigan. They believe they can win Michigan. And if they win Michigan, they believe they can win the election. Which you might have expected sooner. Last weekend, you and I were talking about how he was just in California and Colorado. Right. And you were out in Colorado. Kristen Holmes.
Wow, 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 folks. These guys, they will just never understand. The Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, that infects, the mainstream media, the legacy media, the alphabet networks, is just absolutely incredible. It really, really is. I mean, that guest anchor, Alex Marquette, that's the first time I've seen him on there. Maybe they're losing people and they're hiring some riffraffs out there from the journalistic cesspool. But the fact of the matter is he's talking to Kristen Holmes and he's getting upset at the fact that Donald Trump is basically saying that if Kamala Harris gets elected, then cities are going to turn into dumpsters, just like Detroit. Well, there are shithole cities in the United States of America. Take a look at any Democratic-run city, any Democratic-run state. For the most part, they are absolutely terrible. The crime rates are out of, incredible. Take a look at San Francisco, Los Angeles, Baltimore, Detroit, Milwaukee, in Madison, Wisconsin, Atlanta, all of these places. Huge suburbs. And if you take a look at what's in the, right inside the city, have you seen the videos of the housing? Just the dilapidation? The absolute, in some place it looks like a worn-torn area. Houses falling down. They're like shacks. Towns and towns, blocks and blocks. And he has the nerve to basically intimate that Donald Trump is the problem because he's pointing this out. You need some hyperbole. You need to draw attention to the fact. You absolutely have to do that. The infrastructure of the United States is crumbling in so many areas. And that's exactly, we need a leader that's going to at least show that this is a problem and then what's needed to address it, instead of just basically what? Shoveling it under the carpet, shoveling the dirt, so to speak. Now, if that doesn't make matters worse, folks, take a listen to what Don Lemon has to say in terms of, you want to talk about panic, about where Black voters and voters of color are sort of migrating to. And then we'll get to more of some of the excerpts between Kristen and Alex. We'll get to that, all right? So take a look at this, folks.
A lot of voters. And I will just say that you texted me right around the Democratic convention and you said, I am talking to people and Kamala Harris has a problem with Black men.
Yeah, and I told the campaign I did not hear from them. I mean, who am I for them to get back to me? But there's a problem. And look, I went from battleground state to battleground state. When they invited me to the convention, I didn't just want to fly there. I said, I'm going to go and talk to voters in battleground states. And I did. It was not curated. I went up to people just doing man on the street and said, who are you going to vote for? Black men. And time after time after time, they said, I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Why?
Now, their reasons why. They said because most of the time they said, well, you know, for economic reasons, right? Or because he gave me a stimulus check.
Yeah, so even CNN is pressing the panic bell. Every now and then they do these, these episodes, these segments, and they press a warning bell. And we've all seen those videos online of Don Lemon prior to the DNC going to New Jersey, in New York, even in areas where you would think there would be, and there is support for Kamala Harris. Come on, folks, let's face it. New Jersey, New York, they're blue. But even Don Lemon was amazed. And I don't think he was trying to skew it. I think if he actually did, but he couldn't find people there for Kamala Harris. They were almost all of them were Trump supporters. And they were giving him reasons. And in many cases, Don Lemon would try to correct them and say, that's not true. Or, that's not right. The economy's doing fine. What you're feeling isn't true. But they're so shocked, so surprised by the answers they're getting. And you wonder why. Why are black men, Latino men, young white men, men of color, why are they flocking to the Republican Party now and to the message of Donald Trump? Is it because all these black men, Latino men, Hispanic men, Cuban men, Indian men, are they all becoming white supremacists now? Are they all joining the KKK? Is that what's going on? And if you think that isn't something, folks, listen to this group of Michigan voters, but also pay attention to the Trump derangement syndrome, because you can see it in her questioning of the moderator here, who is trying to elicit a response by basically saying, Trump orange man bad. Come on. You know he's bad. But what, so, and you can just see she's not being in the middle. She's not trying to keep her feelings out of it. I mean, her anti-Trump rhetoric, her anti-Trump, her Trump derangement syndrome is just absolutely oozing out of every pore. You can feel it even when she's asking a question that, is just a simple question. It just oozes with TDS. So watch this, folks.
Voting for Kamala Harris here? Absolutely no.
No, not possible.
There's nothing she can do or say for us to change our mind.
The campaign that the Democrats ran was that Donald Trump hates us. I felt safe, though, in the country when Trump was in office. I don't feel safe right now with Kamala in office. So, I mean,
folks, it can't get any worse than that. It really can't. I mean, look at that gentleman there, on the end with his, palm in his face. Just look at the way that they answered the questions. And I've been saying this all along. They are absolutely, the polls are missing the numbers that are going to be affected in this race because of Jill Stein in the Green Party and Chase Oliver and Cornel West. They're going to siphon off small, tiny little parts, Cornel West and Chase. They're going to take small little pieces. But even those small little, even those votes, those thousands of votes that they're going to siphon off are going to harm Kamala Harris. Remember Jill Stein and what happened when Trump won Michigan by about 10,000, what was it? I think almost 10,000 points, 10,000 votes in 2016. But in 2020, there was no third party candidate, no third party really of any significance. And even the Green Party right now significantly is not there yet. But I have a feeling that they are going to be surprising totals in those states where the Green Party is going to significantly increase its margin. And right now, according to a CARE poll, the Council for Arab Islamic Relations, it's showing that Jill Stein is about 40% of the Arab American vote or the Muslim vote. Trump's at 18%, and Harris is at 12%. Now, this has been done several weeks ago. I can only imagine that that has increased. Jill Stein, I would not be shocked if she was above 45, touching 50% of the vote, and if Trump goes over 20, and if Harris falls below 10. I've been saying this all along. Michigan is a Trump victory, and Michigan is the most liberal of the Rust Belt. Then you've got Pennsylvania in the middle, and then Wisconsin. And so my thing is that if Michigan, Wisconsin is not going to vote to the left of Michigan. Pennsylvania is not going to vote to the left of Michigan. That is just so improbable. But here we are, just 2.5 weeks away from the election, and they are pouring their resources into the Rust Belt. Because I really, really do feel, and I've been saying this for a long time, Trump has got the Sun Belt pretty much sewn up. Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, he's got those. And you can tell because the Harris campaign looks like it's diverting a lot of its resources into trying to shore up their blue wall in Pennsylvania and Michigan and in Wisconsin. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Sheikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you've done so already, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow. Y'all know what to do. Take a look at our video links above and below. Share your comments, your thoughts. Let me know where you agree with me, disagree with me, anything you'd like to share. My final thought is always, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, y'all stay safe and take care.